Hello, welcome back to Dry Creek Beekeeping. Today I'm going to be taking a look at two of the hives and going to be seeing whether or not they need a honey super yet. There's lots of flowers out right now, a lot of species of clover, there's some alfalfa, phlox, so we're kind of in a little bit of a honey flow, so I'm hoping that the bees took hold of that and they are ready for those honey supers. Alright, we're starting out with this hive here. And look at that, they've already drank almost all of their sugar water. I'm gonna have to refill that. That is, of course, unless they need a honey super, in which case I am not gonna put that back on the hive. Well, initial indications here for whether or not they need a honey super aren't great. And already I'm leaning towards a no. They haven't done anything with this outermost frame. All this honey was from the previous hive. And on this side, it even looks like they may have drank some of it and not replaced it. Mostly the same here, except there is some areas here that look like they did put some sugar water into it. However, again, that could just be leftovers. I'm not entirely sure. All right, now these are the frames that didn't have anything on them when I put them in. And, well, they still don't. They haven't built out any comb, but at least they haven't stripped the frame of the wax that I put on there. And all four of the frames that I put in don't have wax on them, except, actually, this one. This one has a little bit of comb being built on the frame, but hardly any at all. All right, it looks like they have built some bridge comb here. And check this out. There are eggs being laid in the comb of the upper box. So they are doing stuff with this box, which is good to see. Looking at those first frames, I was worried that it was just a complete waste of time to put this second box on 2 weeks ago. But as long as they're doing stuff with it, it is worth it. It's probably going to be a few more weeks before we have to put the honey super on. That is the smallest bee I have ever seen. What on earth? Look at the size of this honeybee. Oh my gosh. What is wrong with it? That is so small. I don't know where it just went. Here. Take a look at it next to a normal sized bee. That's so weird. All right, I've never seen anything like that before, but that little tiny bee looks healthy, so I don't think it's a big issue. All right, on this frame, you can see they even have brood and some honey being made. So they've been in this box for at least a week and a half, if not more. However, they seem to prefer this half of the box as opposed to this half. And look at all of this. That's all theirs. They made all of this. In a week or two's time, all of this is going to be capped honey. I don't want to make any rash predictions, but I'm going to say the next time I come down here and take a look at this hive, I think they are going to need a honey super. I hardly have a doubt in my mind. Honestly, all things considered, this is still quite impressive. The earliest I've ever put a honey super on a hive was late June, and it's June 2nd right now. So these bees are way ahead of the curve. All right, let's go ahead and close up this hive, and we'll see them in 2 weeks. Now moving on to the next hive here. Same deal. They drank almost all of their sugar water. So that's going to need to be refilled. And now let's pop open this hive and see what these bees have been doing. All right, initially, I don't feel like I see as much activity on these frames as in the last hive. However, I may have spoken too soon. See all that? The lighter colored honeycomb? That is all brand new. So these bees have been hard at work filling out these outer frames. Look at that. And there are eggs in these frames as well. Holy cow. Would you look at that? That's a lot of brood and eggs. And new honey. Yeah, this hive is way ahead of the other hive. Now, I don't like all the queen cells I'm seeing down here, but they aren't doing anything with them, so I'm just going to ignore it. And look at that. Unfortunately, they are building out way far from the frame. At least it's still on the frame, so it's not that big of a deal. And it's all just honey. So that's probably all fine. And check this out. They are actually building on the new frames. Not on this side, but on this side at least they are. Now, I'm not really seeing too much else on these frames other than, holy cow, a lot of burr comb. That's not what we want to see. They're building the wrong way. So as much as it hurts to destroy their comb, we're gonna have to destroy it, make sure that they build on the frame instead of doing whatever this is. What I'm going to do here is take a little bit of this wax and rub it across this frame here in the hopes that they latch on to some of the wax that I'm putting in these cells. It might be a pretty wild bet, but if I can get some wax onto this, they might just build these frames correctly. That's a little bit better. After taking a look through this entire hive, I have come to the same conclusion as the previous hive. This hive needs another, I'd say 2 weeks, and they'll be ready for a honey super. They're very, very close. They just need to build out some comb on these frames, and they're starting to get packed enough to a point where they're going to do that very soon. All right, so I think it's time to close up the hive and see him in a couple weeks. All right, so that wasn't entirely a surprise that they aren't quite ready for a honey super yet. However, they are extremely close. In all honesty, I was fairly surprised by the amount of work that they've done in those upper deep supers. I can only imagine that in 2 weeks, at least one of those hives is going to be ready for a honey super. Anyways, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and if you did enjoy the video, please make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.